in the days when I was at school, it was a transition period between when we were taught by nuns, who were often the Sisters of Mercy, but also there were some lay teachers coming into the school. I think it might have been in my 3rd year at school. I had a beautiful lay teacher who I remember as Mrs. Richardson, because that was part of my last name was Richardson. So I already took a liking to her because of our name similarities. But she was also such a motherly person, very different to the nuns, who were a little bit different in the way they treated the children in those days. And she did lots of beautiful things with us, like arts and crafts, which we really didn't do much of otherwise.
The biggest impact for me is the children that come to St Mark's. They have taught me so much more than I could ever do for them. They've really balanced my life and taught me what's important in life as well. I love them dearly.
Students. The students, I learned so much from the students. But I also, the parents, there's one particular mum here at school, Tan Nguyen, who there was one day that I was not having a very good day and she came up and comforted me, and that was very special to me. So it's the people here at St Mark's.
My biggest impact at St Mark's is definitely our P&F committee. I think they do wonders for the school, and the children and the staff wouldn't be where we are without them.
Group that have made the biggest impact on me have been the students, because they are so loving with all the staff. They love to share their stories with us, and I think their cultural background and everything that they bring to St Mark's is just wonderful, and I've learned a great deal from them.
Veronica Carney has been a big input in my life, in so much as she was the APRE here, and when there was a personal tragedy in my life, she brought these children here. She would ring the bell every hour, on the hour, to say the memorare for my son who was in hospital. And a mother came to me 3 weeks later when I came back to school and she said, I took my daughter to the doctor yesterday afternoon, and the child looked up, it was 5 o'clock, and the child looked up at the clock and said to me, Mum, we've got to tell the doctor to stop. It's 5 o'clock, and say the memorare for Mrs. Marnie indeed.
The people who've made the biggest impact on me since being at St Mark's are all of the children that I've come into contact with. They are so beautiful and so happy to be here at St Mark's and love learning, and I've loved working with all of them, and makes me feel lucky and blessed to be a teacher here at St Mark's.
Probably the biggest impact was a teacher who was here for 14 years before he left, Mr. Brian Byers. I've always tried to model myself on what he's done, and Brian is a man of such humility, and Brian basically teaches you how to be a human. So I've taken lots and lots of his cues in my day-to-day teaching and life aspects.
I would say Debbie and Mrs. Nelson Scott, because they made me feel welcome.
Being 8 years here is kind of hard, but I guess everyone, because like when you go to a primary school, it depends on like the people there, and it just impacts on you how you go up. So they're teaching you something. So yeah.
The big impact, or the person that made a big impact in my life, was the principal, Pam Felcher. She was the one that opened for me the doors of St Mark 20 years ago. She was the person that gave me confidence to work in a system totally different from the one in Argentina.
Yeah, I think the biggest impact would have to be the school community. I think it's, I just feel like there's just a sense of spirituality here, and a sense of caring. and I really like those qualities, and I think that's one of the reasons that I was drawn to Catholic schools in the first place, having come from a Catholic school system when I was growing up.
No, I think the whole staff were such a good staff. You know, they were all very keen and conscientious.
I would have to say the person who has made the biggest impact on me would have to be the children of St Mark's. And they taught me that it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside or where you come from, that we are all the same beautiful people.
Probably Mr. Montgomery, even though he never taught me, but I watched him talk a lot to the school, and it was really inspiring, and it was really cool. Yeah.
I have to say Mr. Montgomery as well, even though he never taught me, because he sort of laid the foundation for my faith, and I think he's one of those people who has a big influence on me still, because I think as a liturgy committee leader at my school this year, I sort of look back on his example and see how I should conduct myself and all that.
I'd have to say it was Father Lyons. He was on a mission. He fought for a long time to get the Mercy nuns to come here, and he worked from daylight till dark. They cleared the place themselves. He and two men were always with him. But Father Lyons was an exceptional person. He was a very hard worker, and he expected the same from everybody else. He didn't tolerate fools gladly, and he was just a wonderful man who wanted a Catholic school in the parish, and he worked so hard to get it. I actually kept in touch with him until he passed away in 2002, and I was very delighted when I came back a couple of years ago to see that the Oval had his name on it, because he deserved that recognition.
The biggest impact for me was my receiving 1,000 cranes. When I had to take sick leave, they still sit very fondly in my room at home, and that just stays with me every time I look at them.